First and foremost, thank you to Storyblocks for sponsoring today's video. If you would like to download any of the footage that we'll be using for today's tutorial, then go to the link in the description below or go to storyblocks.com/Daniel Schiffer. So a couple years back, I made a tutorial called Make Stuff Fly. Essentially what we did was we took a drink can that was rotating in front of a blue screen, we removed the background and replaced it with a beach, and then we animated the can to effectively fly into the foreground of the shot. Now the flying product effect is cool and it's effective, but it's also very specific. It's not something you would necessarily use for a wide variety of different types of product videos. Now today what I want to show you is a technique that is much more versatile. You can use it in more scenarios, different types of videos, and it's actually just as simple to do as well. This is what I like to call the float. Now let's say a brand reaches out and they want you to create some content for their product. Maybe they need quick organic posts for their social media feeds, or maybe they actually want a whole commercial that they're gonna run as paid ads. No matter what the purpose of the video is, this technique of making things float is going to be a great place to start, because from there you can turn it into whatever you want. For example, let's say we're making some content for this energy drink. I'm gonna start off by making sure that our clip is exactly 12 seconds long, and you'll see why in just a moment. Like always, we'll make a quick color adjustment, and then using our keyer effect, we will remove the background from the shot. And just a reminder, if you would like to try editing these shots for yourself, you can actually download them by going to the link in the description below or going to storyblocks.com/Daniel Schiffer. I'd actually be really curious to see what kind of stuff you make with this footage, so if you do take a crack at it, make sure you tag me in your video. So as usual, we've got our can isolated off of the background, and there is some movement already with the spin, but aside from that, it's a pretty dull and lifeless shot. And this is where the float effect comes in, and it's actually very easy to do. Now, in order to make this effect work, we're going to create 4 evenly timed movements on our y-axis, or in other words, our up and down position. Now, because we made our clip 12 seconds long, 4 evenly spaced movements would mean that each keyframe needs to be exactly 3 seconds apart. In other words, we would make our first keyframe at 0 seconds and then make another keyframe every 3 seconds after that, for a total of 5 keyframes, or 4 evenly timed movements. So our first keyframe will be at the very beginning, so we'll bring the playhead back to 0 seconds and add a keyframe on our Y position. Sometimes I like to create a marker on the actual clip in the timeline. This makes it easier to see visually where those keyframes are if we want to refer back to them later in the edit. And then I'll skip ahead exactly 3 more seconds as indicated right here. I'll hit M on the keyboard once again to add another marker, and then make our next keyframe decreasing the Y position to -50. Skip ahead another 3 seconds, adding our marker once again, and then this time increasing our Y position to +50. Another 3 seconds, another marker, and then another keyframe back down to -50 on that Y position. And then finally, we can skip ahead our final 3 seconds to add our last marker and keyframe, restoring that Y position back to 0, or our neutral position in which the can started. Now the secret here to really sell this float effect, and this is important, is that you want to make sure that all of your keyframes you just made are set to smooth and not linear. In Adobe Premiere, this would be called ease. With linear keyframes, it would appear like the can is abruptly bouncing up and down, but with smooth keyframes, that's what gives us that nice, gentle hovering or floating look. Now the next step here is to make this a compound clip, that way any future adjustments to the position of the can will not have an impact on the floating effect. And now that you have completed the steps for that float effect, this gives you a great base for all kinds of product videos. You have endless possibilities of what you could do with the background or with the can itself. Now, in order to get inspiration for what I can do with this shot, I like to go onto Storyblocks and explore all kinds of different backgrounds and scenes that can ultimately elevate our video. I've personally been using the unlimited all access plan for many years now, and it is one of the best investments you can make if you're a video creator of any kind. You get unlimited stock footage, motion backgrounds, After Effects templates, overlays, you name it, Storyblocks has it, including a bunch of footage of my own that I have contributed to the Storyblocks library. This includes cooking, B-roll, product shots, and of course the energy drink cans from this video. So make sure you go to the link in the description below or go to storyblocks.com/Daniel Schiffer to learn more. Now back back to our floating can, there are all kinds of possibilities where we can take this. One approach that comes to mind is a futuristic look. Here's a shot from Storyblocks of this interesting sort of room that could maybe be a science lab or the inside of a spaceship. I'm gonna darken it up a bit, just leaving this light and the base a bit brighter, and I can also blur the background just a little bit to give it some depth. And once we bring our floating can back into the shot and add a little shadow, we can get something that looks like this. This is a pretty cool futuristic concept for an energy drink, but notice the movement of the can and how it helps to sell that whole floating look. Now, another option is sometimes you have multiple flavors and you want to highlight all of them in a single shot. What I like to do is create something called a product carousel. So I'll go back into Storyblocks here and grab a cool abstract background, and because I edit in Final Cut, I like to browse the Apple Motion templates. This is where I found an awesome neon titles pack, which I think will suit our video perfectly. And if we apply our float effect from before to all three cans, we can take all these different elements and turn it into a shot that looks like this. Now let me know in the comments below if you would like to see a full tutorial for a product carousel like this. It definitely needs its own video because there are a lot of steps. But notice once again how all three cans are moving up and down, and this really sells that float effect and adds to the whole look of the video. But don't forget, if you would like to try this for yourself, you can download all of the footage at storyblocks.com/Daniel Schiffer. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at Daniel.Schiffer, and I will see you in the next video.